Hello, Hacksters! It is once again my favorite time of the week. We get to talk with an amazing person. Ooh, look at your shirt! Oh my gosh, I didn't even see that till now. Yuri is an amazing person who has built, well, you're sort of famous for this ever-blooming mechanical tulip that you've turned into a product called, do you say flower, or does it have a special pronunciation? It has two O's.
Yeah, we tend to call it flower, but it sounds more like Floower, but the flower is more like,
Kind of French that way. Fleur. Um, anyway, so great. Good morning, Yuri. How are you?
Thank you very much for inviting me into this chat. I'm really great. It's late evening here in Czech Republic, and
Oh,
I'm
wow.
looking forward to talking with you.
So we've got a bunch of links in the description for things that you folks might already recognize, and if not, you can check out. First, let's take a look at your Twitter, because that's a great place for people, it seems, to follow you after the fact. Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess the thing I have up first here is the tulip.
Ooh.
This is, it's just, this captivated everyone who saw it when you first released this, and it continues to do so today. Just to drop the Twitter in there, it is the first link in the description, but let's just jump into this because it's, I think it's your most famous design, although you've done plenty of cool stuff since then, and you are always sharing cool things about how you fabricate it and things like that. So what was the inspiration for this project?
I'm not sure. Like, a lot of people ask me what was the inspiration, like how did I came up into the idea of building like flower. It's actually like sitting right here.
Ooh.
And I don't know. I actually don't know what drives me into it, but I wanted to build something to my sculpture that is more mechanical. Because previously I built just LED sculptures, so there was nothing moving, and I was like doing something that would move. It would like add another dimension into the design. So it was close to Valentine's Day, so I decided to do a flower, a mechanical flower. And I finished it like right 2 days before the Valentine's Day. I posted it up on the internet, and it instantly it went viral, and it was like awesome. It has 2 million views on the Twitter, and like it was really amazing to me that people recognize it. And and since then, a lot of people like still ask me if they can build this one or if they can buy it. So I put the instruction up on the internet. So
you can do both.
Yeah, you can. Currently you can even build one or buy one. So you have a choice. You can choose. I want to build a community around the flower because it's great when somebody contribute to your code and recognize your creation, like the maker spirit around it.
Absolutely. Have you seen a lot of people making other projects that are sort of similar to this, like different spins on it? I'm curious. I saw that you did like a Halloween version. Are there any other reinterpretations that you especially like?
Well, yeah, I think the Halloween one is the most famous for interpretation. It got this motion sensor in the blossom, so when you try to touch it, it will cut your finger.
There we go.
But other than that, I like to play. Yeah, that's it. I like to play with colors and different styles of lead pedestal. For example, I built this transparent one. It's from the resin, from the and milled one, and all the electronic components that are within the flower are clearly visible inside. And like this is my like winter icy version.
Oh, brilliant. So is that cast and milled or just milled or?
Yeah, it's cast into a cylinder and then milled on my CNC machine.
Oh, cool. And the rest of them are mostly 3D printed bases, right? Or do you ever make them out of wood?
Well, actually, I like them more from the wood. They are all like made from the wood. They are not 3D printed because I'm not like into having the flower pot 3D printed, it doesn't look like very nice. So I tend to do like combining the different materials. So the flower pot is from the wood, different kind. For example, this one is oak. There is this stem and the leaf, which are from the metal, from the brass, and then the petals, those are 3D printed.
Cool. So none of the bases are 3D printed. They're all made out of wood.
Yes, exactly. Oh, actually, the one for the Halloween is 3D printed. I put the face. I wasn't able to mill it.
Oh, right. Yeah, this is a little pumpkin guy.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
It's so good. And you mentioned that this
So
was
this started.
Please go.
Go ahead.
It's your show.
So this started as a fun project, and a lot of people were asking me if they can, buy it for me. And it took 2 weeks to build the original one. All the mechanics inside the blossom, it's really intricate, and it's really hard to make it right. And it is also always broken.
Oh yeah.
but only on the original part, because there's so many solder joints. So I spent like a year designing a simplified version that would be actually viable for manufacturing. And a year ago, on the one-time dates again, I built 10 of these, like the proof of concept, and I put them into the garden as like ever-blooming flower garden. And since then, it was like kind of right, because currently I have a product that can be purchased on our website. But there's I learned that there's a huge difference between the hacked project, between this one, and actually customer product. There's like tons of stuff you need to face in the process.
What was the most challenging for you?
It was hard, but right now we have a product and we can focus on doing fun stuff, building community, doing code, and improving it all around, which is great.
So one of the coolest things that I love about your Instagram is that you share this process about, you mentioned that it was, tons of solder joints, and of course with a mechanical design, it's going to be really fidgety, but you've developed all of these jigs and things and different processes for going from a bunch of tiny little snippets of wire into this cool form with little clips and things. I'm really curious about how you developed these jigs, because they're so like all these little rotating bits and little clips and stuff. That's so cool.
Yeah, it's really fun about this project is there's tons of aspects, from 3D designing to 3D printing to soldering to electronics to hardware designing. So there's like, why I'm doing this, why I'm like doing all this stuff is like primarily to have a fun, that's like my primary goal, to have fun, to have a release from my daily job. But it's also to learn new stuff, new technique.
It's so cool.
Yeah, and also to inspire other people. That's like the huge for me. And why I'm building these templates, because I'm detail oriented. You can see that from my creation, from my post, and I need everything to be perfect. So in order to make everything perfect, I designed these jigs and templates to be able to make the final product like perfect shape, and same for all the products I made. And
do you still make them all by hand?
Sorry?
You don't use like am I right that you're still making them all by hand? You don't use a production shop, you make them all yourself?
Yeah, the only part that is made by the external factory is the circuit board, the logic board, that contains all the electronics on the button. But otherwise, every aspect is done manually. What I love about the process of making these is that it got like the maker spirit. So everything apart from the Prusa's excellent 3D printer and the soldering station is like custom made and custom design for the flower itself. So we got different jigs for soldering. You see the leaf one. We got the custom made CNC machine to mill the flower pots, and a lot of various stuff to do it. We also have my latest creation,
Whoa!
wire cutter machine.
I would love to have a look at that. Yeah,
Its
can you tell me
goal
about
is
it?
to simplify the labor work. We got this is the spool of wire,
Uh-huh.
and you have to make it into this. There is 27 different lengths of wires on each flower. So it's like absolutely waste of time to cut them by hand. So in the spirit of a maker, I've designed and made this 3D printed wire cutting machine, which do the job for me, and that's a dream. And I want to continue to do the stuff like that. So to innovate and to create stuff on my own, and that's what I love about the job.
And you do share all these tutorials, like this wire bending machine that you're talking about. Oh wait, are there two machines, like a wire cutter and a wire bender, or is it all one machine?
What you have on the screen is the wire bending machine, but it's very similar to the wire cutter machine. The only difference is the head. So instead of the bending head on the end, there is the cutting head. So otherwise, the design is basically same. There is the line where the wire gets straightened. There is the feeder, like the feeder motor that feeds the wire into the cutter, and there is this cutting mechanism that cuts the wire. So the principle is the same, but this is the most recent design, and it's better than the old bending machine. Actually, the bending machine was a great idea. It was a bit of fail because I didn't find any usefulness for it. It was kind of hard to make the perfect shapes all the time.
Yeah. But so you still have, oh, sorry, go on.
But that's what I like. I fail, somehow I don't. So.
There's so many bearings and things in here. Do you have any background in engineering, or is this something that you've already always done as kind of a passion and taught yourself?
I wanted to be an architect when I was young. Well, before that, I wanted to be an astronaut, but
maybe soon.
Sorry?
Maybe soon. We could be seeing more people out there.
That's my dream, It's everybody's dream, I guess. But no, I don't have any background in the mechanics. Only that I love designing stuff. I love designing stuff in Fusion. Creating the 3D models. So I teach everything myself. I watch tons of tutorials on YouTube and read a lot of articles on the internet. We live in wonderful ages because there is tons of resources and tons of people you can follow on the internet, and you can learn amazing stuff.
And you mentioned that the flower was sort of your first mechanical project, and also linking in with that, the idea that you've been using some 3D CAD design tools and stuff, but you also make these non-mechanical and also completely sort of handmade, hand-designed pieces like these that are just beautiful LED jewelry. And this doesn't have any 3D printed parts or PCBs or anything. It's just components. I think it's really beautiful. Can you tell us about these?
Definitely. So I would split my projects or categorize my projects into, I said 4 categories. So there is, as you mentioned, these tiny little guys.
Oh.
Call them the LED jewelries. Then there are more complex sculptures, like this.
Oh yeah.
Or the LED sphere.
Yes.
And those are more complex one, which contains a microcontroller. And then there's, of course, the flower, which is a huge project on its own. And the 4th category are the machines. So the wire bender, wire cutter, the CNC machine, and all the automated stuff that I use for something, actually, not just for the display. I made these tiny little ones. These are actually just a that simple circuit. It's just a battery with a bunch of LEDs. And I was asked, it's 2 years ago, I think it's half a year ago, when the world was still normal, for the Maker Faire in Prague to do a workshop on the brush soldering. And I was thinking, like, there is no way they are going to be able to solve like the complex stuff there. There's no way, it's because it solely took me like few weeks to do that. So I think like something really simple. So just a LED and a battery, and I came up with these little guys. And what's the best thing about these, that you can make like tons of different themes and shapes. There's a little sun, and this is the most simple one, which is just a square with the two LEDs.
And that's in this picture here.
Yeah. And recently also, this is my Firefly.
Oh yeah.
Sculpture I made for the Remoticon, which we run the workshop there. So people actually try to make this online, which was like a really great platform.
I'm so sad that I missed that workshop. It was you and Mohit Bahoite and Kelly Heaton, right?
Yeah.
Like 3 different versions.
Yeah, awesome, exactly.
Oh, so
it was
cool.
really fun. So these one are really simple, and that's simple to make. Everybody can make these, even though if they have no background in the electronics whatsoever. I have on my website, I have some templates. So if you got some assembly IDs at home and a bunch of wire, then you can like just solder these. Yeah, that's the article.
Cool.
And I guess on the bottom of the page there are
earrings
for the download.
Oh wow, look at that! These are beautiful.
That's a basic tutorial, step by step, how to make these.
I'm not surprised you were going to be an architect. Look at these. Like, there's so much design sensibility in here.
What can I say? But somehow I end up as a software engineer, which is like fun job.
We have a question. Oh, sorry.
There's in the software engineering world, there's a lot of changing and moving parts, which is great. It's not a boring job, but there is nothing physical you can touch. And making a hardware, it's awesome because you can actually touch something physical. You can make it and program it and code it and like run it and have something physical in hand. Why it's not running?
What kind of a controller is inside of that one? The orb.
I think this is the ESP32 board.
Oh, look at it go. Huh. There's also this similar heart one.
The gyroscope inside, so it can sense the rotation. So it's possible, to make a water level, and if it's rolling on the ground, it keeps the same level of if it was both. But what was really sad about this project, that it got scammed. Some people took my pictures and created a website and claim to sell these for $10, like crazy.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, and what you got was the plastic ball with one LED inside.
Oh, that's awful. I'm so sorry.
And I think a lot of people fall for this before I was able to put the website down. So I'm sorry if you fell for it.
This is an interesting topic when it comes to running your own business. There's so many aspects of it. There's like creating the thing physically, and then there's running the business, and then there's also all this stuff around controlling the images and seeing like even as you're open source and anyone can create their own, at the same time like you get these people who are just trying to scam people based on your work, and that must feel so terrible. I'm curious about the whole. It seems like there's so many aspects to running your own sort of maker-focused business. I'm curious about what is the most challenging part for you? Is it this emotional stuff? Is it the like, I don't know.
Bureaucracy. There's tons of paperwork and all the certificates you need to make for actually be able to sell something, which is terrible. So it's really hard to start something. If you have the prototype, it's just the beginning of the long path. It's almost a year ago when I asked two of my friends if they want to join me on building this flower thing, and they say yes, which was really great. I hope they are not regretting it by now. Oh, guys. And we spent like half a year making everything ready for actually being able to sell the first production grade flower. So we need to put the website up. We need to design and manufacture the boxes for the flowers.
Oh yeah.
The 3 months to manufacture them, to like design them and have them like manufactured. The box is solid, with the foam and so the flower on the way to the customer.
Right.
And we try, to make the whole experience like great. So from the website, from the point where you order the flower to the point when you unpack it at home and you first touch it to make it bloom. That should be like awesome experience for everybody. So that's what we are focusing on.
I often ask that question about challenges, but what's your favorite part of doing this?
Like, what's my favorite part?
Yeah, of doing this as a business. What's the coolest part?
It's fun. It's like it's also fun. You are in charge of yourself. You are deciding what to do. You are do your own fails. From you can learn, of course, some successes as well, but mostly the fails. But that's like really great. I learned tons of stuffs in 2 years. I started doing this sculpturing, and even more in the past 1 year when I started this company for the flower, and it was really amazing. I would really encourage everybody to try it at least. The worst thing which will happen that you will fail, and that's okay. At least it's an experience, and that's what I'm looking for. To have fun and to have experience. The fun part, the most fun part, is that I met a lot of like great people on the way, and I hope I will meet more. The bad thing is that we are currently in the this COVID lockdown situation, so it's hard to meet so many people. So
that's why I'm glad that I get to talk to people like you over video. This is the best part of my job.
On the other hand, yeah, we live in the wonderful age where we got the video chat. That's awesome.
Tell me about this. Okay, this is completely unrelated, but I keep staring at this coat of armor, and I feel like it's for, customer service complaints where you're like, oh yeah, you have a problem. No. But yeah, what's the deal with the coat of armor?
Say it again. What's the
question? Armor behind you on your left?
Oh, this one.
Oh, that armor.
That's my bodyguard. Actually, I'm a bit into, or a lot into the history and medieval ages, and I do this historical fencing thing as a sport, and this is my like armor that I wear when we fight.
Do you have a different name that you use when you fight?
Yeah. Oh gosh, I don't know what's the name right now. Yeah, it's Zlipkova.
Awesome.
So that's actually noble name that exists in the medieval, like near from the place where we tend to play like the role playing actually for some actual people that exist in the past.
Awesome. I can't let you go without talking about this skeleton Arduino because this is one of your projects that absolutely wowed me. It's another one of your freeform circuits, one of the more complex ones with a microcontroller inside, and in this case, it's it's so good. Okay, yeah, as you can see, it's an Arduino Uno, but it's a skeleton. Can you tell us about the process of making this?
So this was actually a challenge. I was challenged. Here it is.
Ooh.
So I was challenged to build, a free-form version of the Arduino Uno. The most famous, like the development board.
Mm.
Actually, it wasn't that hard. It's not that hard. There's like a bunch of routes you need to do, but it's all on the same plane. There's like few components, but it was really easy. No, really easy. It was like great, fun. What I always tend to do with my projects is that every project needs to have some kind of new aspect into it. So I don't know, the new technique or the new material or new tool or something like that. And this was actually the first time I used this resin for my sculpture. So I enclosed the roads on the bottom plane into the resin, making it like more stronger and like able to withstand touching actually without breaking. So this was the new technique I learned, and it actually works. This is like fully working Arduino Uno board for your project, if you will.
That's so cool. We have a question. We have a number of questions, like really good questions from this Octagon Cake person who I don't even know who this is, but this person asks, how are you able to solder the Arduino with so straight and perfect brass wires? Did you use any jigs or templates for this one? Obviously, in your new ones, you use jigs, but...
So I'm known for a lot of templates and jigs I used in my work. Recently, I'm doing a lot of like 3D printed ones, but this one was before I had the 3D printer. Before that, I used the paper template printed on the sheet of paper. So I actually took the original Arduino Uno board, place it on the paper, remove all the traces other than I wanted, and printed it out and started to laying it on the paper and soldering it together.
Wow. So no physical jig.
So if you need to do if you need to do like flat sculpture, the easiest way is to design it in some vector graphic program, for example, GIMP, and printed it out on the paper and use a double-sided tape to put it on the paper, and then you cut the wires and put it on the paper. I have a lot of videos on my YouTube channel where this technique can be seen, so you can have a look.
Great, and I'll pull that up. We can drop that into the description as well. You have a ton of subscribers already, but let's go ahead and hit that button. Yeah. And yeah, that
it's
also...
really, I wasn't able to like do a lot of videos recently because it's really time consuming. Like it's awesome, it's fun, but it takes like twice a time of actually making the project to do the video about it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Currently, that's not my priority, so I'm not doing a lot of videos right now.
So you mentioned
I actually do the shorter one on my Instagram. So if you are not following me on Instagram, that's a great place to watch me because I tend to do these short ones because they are much easier to do, and they are pretty much explaining all the techniques I'm using.
Yeah. Oh, look at this quality wood content.
Recent wood for the flower. It's the walnut, and it's really great. It's dark, and it makes really really great appearance. This is a bit of spoiler art. The special edition we're working on got this mystic voodoo purple petals and the dark walnut wood, and the combination is really amazing.
Ooh.
I really love it. I don't want to sell it. I just want to keep it at home for myself.
Is that Mystic Voodoo the name of the filament that you're using? You mentioned Mystic Voodoo. Is that the name?
Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you. Oh no. Okay. Well.
Okay. Yeah. I lost you for a minute. Go ahead.
I was just wondering if that was the name of the filament that you're using. We'll skip that one.
What do you mean?
Well, you mentioned Mystic Voodoo, and I was wondering if that's the filament, or if that's just what you call it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we got there. I want to do a high five right now, but we can't because it's virtual. We have one more question. Oh yeah, there we go. So Octagon Cake asks again, you mentioned using Inkscape for printing out the template to solder from, but when it comes to designing these things in the beginning, do you use Illustrator or Inkscape, or do you just do it by hand?
I try to sketch it on the paper by hand first. I don't want to sound awkward, but the most of the time I design in the shower. There's a place when you have the clear head. Everything goes away, and you just showing yourself, and you got the glass with what I mean. So you can hand draw in it.
Oh yeah,
So that's a great platform for me to design. And because I like to take the hot showers. And then, so you got a lot of stream there, so you can draw
it's a
on the
renewable
glass.
resource.
Yeah, and but yeah, I use hand drawing on the sheet of paper, but then I just to sketch the idea out of my head, and then I draw it into the Inkscape. I don't use Illustrator because I don't have the Adobe suite, but I use the Inkscape. It's perfectly fine for it. You can also do the template just by hand on, I don't know, the square sheet. I don't do that because I do what I called an engineering art. So everything has to be symmetrical and perfectly aligned and square. So that's why I use computer to design and draw the final stuff.
Awesome. I wanted to point out before we go here, this wonderful collaboration that you did. So not only are you making these beautiful things, but also there's so much opportunity for like elevating other forms of art as well. So like this is a truffle that someone made that they're presenting inside of the flower. I love these combinations. They're so fruitful. So cool. Do you have any other collaborations coming up?
So this one, this one was for the tasting table restaurant in Alabama. They are serving they got this special menu, and the guy Tyler wanted to create something special for the one-time days and for, of course, for the other days.
Right.
So we collaborate on creating this platform to serve a dessert. So you get the flour into your table, and you touch it, and inside there is this dessert where you can like touch and eat. And so we actually got 24 of our flowers, which is really awesome. The other great story is, and use case is, the one guy that actually proposed to his girlfriend with the flower. I made a ring holder into the blossom, so he hid his diamond ring inside it and let her touch the leaf, and when it opens, it shows up the ring, and he was really excited, and it was really great.
That's so
very
nice.
romantic life. So that's the approach right now. We want to like make the ring holder as the add-on. You can purchase it with the flower
Oh yeah.
and romantic act on your own.
It seems like that would also be one of the most awesome parts of running a business like this, is just seeing people's reactions to it and like how excited they are to work with your art.
Yeah, as I said, that's the dream. To inspire people. That's my main motivation and inspiration into doing this.
And you totally do. You have so many tutorials up as well. You've got the mechanical tulip, these LED jewelry designs, the skeleton Arduino, the spring making machine. All of these things are on Hackster, as well as on your personal website, where people can download these plans and things for the LED jewelry. Is there anything like that else that you'd like to throw in there before we wrap up? Ooh, also Patreon.
Yeah, I also have this. So I also have this Patreon page, as you showed. That's the platform where you can support me in my creations. There are several tiers, and I try to make the tutorials first there. So if you support me, I will support you in making your own art. So you can ask me questions there. You can download all the designs and all the 3D printed, all the 3D models for all my jigs and all my stuff.
Ah.
And later on, I put more tutorials up on the Hackster.io and other portals for everybody to make.
That's a great model, so people can get early access to those things. And it seems like a great way of sort of regulating. I'm sure you must get so many questions from people. Like once you get a project like this,
Yeah, exactly.
it's a good way to.
Yeah, I wish I had more time to answer all the questions, but like there is no way. I got like 50 messages a day on the Instagram, and it's like impossible to manage. So I prioritize the people that are asking me on the Patreon because they are supporting me. So I want to support them as well, which is a great way how to get like the support if you wish. And I, of course, then share everything on my Twitter and on my Instagram.
So everyone, the links are going to be in the description to this video. Everything that isn't there already, we will put down there. Once again, that is Twitter, Instagram, and Patreon. And of course, you can follow Yuri on Hackster.io, my favorite website. I have to say that because we're on Hackster, but no, really, I love seeing your stuff come up, and it's I can't wait to see what you come up with next. Any secrets will be revealed, I'm sure. All right, cool. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah,
Your turn.
Thank you again for inviting me. It was great talking with you and great showing my stuff. And I will continue doing it on my Instagram and on my Twitter, where you can follow me. And we're looking forward to meeting more people there.
Yeah, and better days. Well, have a great night, friend. We'll see you soon.